The intent of this briefing is just to share thoughts on the efforts at some of the distinguished senators at defecting to other political parties, from PDP to APC, from APC to PDP, and other political parties. And I want to say that these senators, by virtue of their procedure, have not yet fully and effectually defected, but have expressed intention to defect by the procedure. But as a political party interacting with the leadership of the APC and other parties, there is a lot of room left for conciliation and reconciliation. Again, all the grievances expressed by the distinguished senators and all members, none is attributed or directed at President Muhammadu Buhari, nor his actions, or any action or commission or omission of the President or the federal government. In fact, in my interaction, pre and post expression of intent to defect by the distinguished senators and members, all the dramatist personnel, the distinguished senators and honorable members expressed their solidarity and support for Mr. President and expressed categorically that their grievances and consequent actions are not directed against President Buhari nor his re-election bid in 2019, but domestic actors in their constituency political fields, such as the governors, state party leaders, or frustration over zoning, or indeed calculations for a return ticket or platform for 2019 elections. Indeed, a great number of them have indicated that even if they pursue their bid on different platforms, they will still campaign for President Buhari in 2019 on the platform of the APC. Gentlemen, what has been done by the distinguished senators and all members are group notice to switch camp. It is inchoate and leaves windows, doors, and rooms for further consultation and resolution, because our party, the APC, minds and cares for all members in or out of office. And like the Holy Bible enjoins, if you lose one sheep out of 100, preserve 99 and go and search for the lost one sheep. Now, I believe that all of you saw, perhaps this morning, that at the interactive between the distinguished senators of the APC and Mr. President, which lasted to the early hours of this morning, some of the distinguished senators who expressed defection to other parties or intended defection have returned to the fold of the APC. They were with Mr. President, and those who were not there, because the notices were short, some of them could not return, and most of them will still be joining or further interactions within the weekend with the leadership of the party. So there has been a lot of return and a lot of calm on the family of the All Progressive Congress. The executive, Mr. President, and all ministers will keep treating the legislators with respect due their person and offices, and keep working with them as legislators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who make laws for the executive to execute, irrespective of their individual political decisions, while leaving all options open for conciliation. As the legislature proceeds on the conventional annual vacation, on behalf of the Presidency liaison to the National Assembly, we wish them a eventful, restful, and politically active vacation. We will be praying the legislature, the leadership, the membership, to consider that there are many matters of very urgent nature which are pending before the legislature, and unless considered, the functioning of certain institutions of the government will be hampered. If you recall, a lot of the funding for the 2018 budget was budgeted to come from some external sources. The request for approval of this to raise funds from these external sources is before the legislature, and unless considered, it may hamper the level of implementation. Again, before the legislature proceeded on vacation, Mr. President also laid before them the request for virement. This also will be affected. Well, Mr. President had earlier on laid the request for the purchase of, for the application of some security funds for the purchase of Tucano jet to fight insurgency. That is still pending. Now, there are also the budget, which is pending. You remember when Mr. President laid before the National Assembly sometime in November last year the 2018 budget proposal, it was the budget of the federal government and the budget of the government-owned corporations. What has been passed for 2018 is the budget of the federal government, and the budget of the federal government corporations has not yet been passed. And of course, you know that this budget also includes provisions for employment, provisions for capital spendings, which will affect the items in the economy, the run of the economy, functioning, and a lot of the economic activity, activate the economy. Unless the legislature considers this, the executive is very law-abiding and will not do a thing which the law requires the legislature to do, to approve first before it is done, unless it is done. So we will be praying the legislature to consider the emergency implications of this and decide how to accommodate and consider this within the period of the vacation. You also will know that there were emergency situations in respect of approvals for appointment, such as the Federal Civil Service Commission, and unless that is done, unless that is approved, there would not be, that commission may not be able to consider employment. But on the whole, we are working with the leadership and the membership to agree on very many matters. We accept that some exigency may have caused the abridgment of the time within which they were to proceed on vacation, because they were to proceed on Thursday. But some circumstances made it that they had to adjourn on Tuesday. Therefore, we will be working with them to ensure that we have a few of these considered and passed within a time that it will still be reasonable to attain the purpose of the economy. I want to thank you and wish the distinguished senators and honorable members a very happy vacation.